I'm a 21-year-old law student. My journey is a bit unique compared to the normal traditional
You're a
route.
21-year-old Masters of Law. You're no longer a law student. You finished law
Yeah,
school.
no, thank you for the
You're
correction.
a Masters of Law candidate. What do you mean?
My mom sent me to go to law school. It wasn't an option to fail.
Yes.
The mission was always, have fun with your friends or work, whatever you want to work. But no, the end goal is the law degree. And so it's just priorities, right? In terms of academics, I think I've always been decently good at academics.
Yeah, Jaedan has a first class.
Yeah.
You know how hard it is to get a first class? What is in your brain? What the
Well,
heck,
I'll get
man?
to that in a bit.
Okay. Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your favorite girl here, Ella, GPLLM candidate at University of Toronto. Over here, I talk about my journey to law, trying to become a lawyer out here in Ontario. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. Remember to like, share, subscribe, turn on your notification bell so you get notified whenever I post my videos, and leave me a comment while watching or at the end of today's video if you have any questions. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for riding with me through this journey. Today we have Jaedan on the channel. Yay!
Hello.
Hi, Jaedan.
Happy to be here.
Thank you so
give you guys
much.
some insight.
Yes. Thank you so much, Jaedan, for finding time for us to have this interview today. I know that you get very busy with work and school, but you found time for this interview to share your perspective and insights, which I find very, very unique. So thank you very much.
No worries.
You're welcome. Okay. Let's start. First things first. Who is Jaedan? Tell us about Jaedan.
Well, I'm Jaedan. I'm one of Ella's classmates in the GPLLM program. I'm a 21-year-old law student. My journey is a bit unique compared to the normal traditional
You're a
route.
21-year-old Masters of Law. You're no longer a law student. You finished law school.
No, thank you for the
You're
correction.
a Masters of Law candidate. What do you mean?
Correct. I went straight from high school to law school. So it's been a bit of a journey. Did 3 years in the UK, and now I'm back getting my degree here as well.
And what university in the UK did you go to?
I went to the University of Sunderland. So it's way up north, close to Newcastle, about 30-40 minutes from Newcastle, maybe about an hour and a half from Scotland. So way up north by the beaches.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds like, I don't know where that is, but
Yeah,
it sounds nice.
Northeast. Yeah.
Sounds nice.
Yeah.
And why did you decide to pursue law school straight out of high school? That's a very, very unique path.
Well, I feel like in elementary school, I didn't really connect with anything else but law. My law teacher was very good, so I knew law was always where I wanted to be. So there wasn't really any option for anything else. In terms of timing, I connected with, I had mentors. So I think before we even jump into what I think about law, I think the most important advice I'd give to any high schoolers is make the connections now. Like make the proper connections and get a mentor and obtain a mentor. Like high school co-op, I can't stress the importance of high school co-op enough, because I met my current boss when I was like 14 doing co-op at a law firm, and
Really?
about 6-7 years later I still like him, and I are quite close. Well, he's my boss now, so him and I are close. So that's how I started off in law, getting his advice and getting his mentorship, because he went to the UK.
Did he also go straight from high school? Or
No, he did undergrad, but that's why he regretted it. He's like, you should go straight to law school. So his mentorship and inspiration also pushed me, and I took a trip there, but before, when I was younger. So I still love the city, and I always knew I'd study abroad some way or another. And then everything seemed to like line up back to back. So that's why I kind of left. I did get into university here. Like I was gonna go to school for economics, but I wouldn't use the degree, right? Because it would be useless to me. I wouldn't pursue a career in economics.
Yeah, and cost-wise too, I find that is very, very, it's an intelligent thing to do. And the reason why I say that is because North America, so Canada and the US, I don't know if Mexico does it, they're the only regions that require the LSAT for you to become a lawyer, like a degree and then the LSAT. Other countries in the world, you go straight from high school, you want to study law, there's no get this random degree first before pursuing it. So I think that your decision is wise, and which is why I wanted you on the channel here, because I've had high school, I don't want to call them kids, high school people approach me and ask me about my experience, but that's different because I didn't go straight from high school. So listening to you today, someone can learn and say, okay, there's an alternate way to becoming a lawyer that I don't have to spend 4 years doing something else and then spend another 3 years. So it's good that you spoke about mentorship and the importance, because I doubt that you might have known about about that pathway without
No,
having
I wouldn't have known.
a
Right?
mentor.
So I won't stress enough. Like obviously, being a lawyer is the end goal, but there are so many different pathways to get there, right? So there's no one set correct way. There are pros and cons to each approach. So just knowing what fits your schedule and your lifestyle is what's important. Right?
Okay, that's true. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
And you knew you wanted to do law. You met your mentor. He told you about different pathways. How did you evaluate the risks? So saying, okay, I'm going straight from high school, I'm moving to another country. Oh my God! Like, did you have any
Right.
expectations? Like, how did you manage
No,
that?
I was eager to go, right?
You
I was
were
18,
Yeah.
like, I was a young person. I'm ready to go out and explore the world and try new things. I had family in the UK, which is
Okay.
okay, right? So
Okay.
I've been there before and I was eager to go. And like, I applied, like, I did everything by myself, right? I didn't go to an agent, right? I did the visa process by myself. I went to the
Really?
interviews, all the stuff by myself. So it's not a complex process,
True.
to be fair. You just pay your fees and, get the visa and stuff. But my biggest fear was perhaps like leaving and not making the connections. I will say the hardest thing, I think you can speak from experience, the hardest thing coming back is you don't have any connections, right?
Yeah.
It's like reintegrating back into
Society.
as a Canadian, right?
Yeah.
For me, it was a bit challenging, like not a culture shock, but like really settling down because I was coming back and forth, right? From summer, winter vacation, and my schedule was spend like 4 months on, 4 months off of school, right? Or 3 months on, 3 months off, whatever it is. And I had to balance like coming back permanently and settling now. It's a bit of still even now it's a bit of a change, resettling back into things. But I think, like I said, if you have the right mentor and the right guidance, you don't have to worry too much about a job because like I was lucky enough to have a mentor. He said, like he opened his own firm and he said, I'll take you on. So I already had a pathway open for me, but I can imagine the difficulties for those who don't have anyone here.
Yeah.
Right. So.
That was going to be one of my questions of, did you have any fear of like stigma coming back? Because there's still employers in Canada who still think, oh, like, why would you just go straight to high school? Why would you go abroad and come here to come and like some people will view it as a shortcut and just think that this person is too young to become a lawyer or different differences. But it's good to hear that you already established those connections even before going. And even when you came back after 3 years, you maintained the connections and now it's working in your favor because you're getting that experience.
Yeah, these are connections you have to water, right? They start off as seeds and you just keep checking in and keep making the connections, get the advice and guidance because people love to give advice. If they can help you, people will help you, right? So I don't want to speak to employers. I don't know what they're looking for and whatnot. I don't want to get into that because I don't know the details, but I can just talk from my experience. I've been okay in finding employment.
That's good. And okay, let's talk about your UK experience in itself. Now, you were an international student there. How did you adapt academically or culturally to studying in the UK?
Right. So yeah, like I said, I was a kid when I left, so it was a big culture shock jumping and to and from, and where I lived, I wasn't close to family. So my biggest challenge, perhaps, it wasn't in terms of academics. I think I've always been decently good at academics.
Jaedan has a first class.
Yeah.
You know how hard it is to get a first class? What is in your brain? What the heck,
I'll get to that in a bit.
Okay.
But I think the main thing was just learning how to manage your time, right? I'm living alone for the first time. I had to learn how to cook and clean and do laundry. So that was my biggest challenge.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit soft-spoken, so I think finding friends in a foreign country can be a bit challenging as well. But it all depends how you interact with people, right? That's subjective. In terms of academic, I feel like even when I was in law school, most of my professors said the Canadian students who come over were quite well versed, like they were exceptional students from high school. So I think the jump from academia is not a big jump, and there is some stepping stones and a bit of a process, but you're not going to be thrown out of the ballpark with the knowledge requirements. So
okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
And okay, this might be an unfair question, but I'm still going to ask anyways. I know you didn't have any university education experience from Canada, but now you have some right here now doing masters at UofT.
Yeah.
What would you say the biggest differences are between how you learned in the UK versus how you're learning now in Canada being in the GPLLM program? So I'll give you an example. It could be maybe the teaching style or the grading system or what was expected of students. So what would you say are some differences?
Not very many, to be fair, because the content's the same right now. The programs we're doing reflect what we did in law school overseas, right? So it's not a crazy jump, but I think it's just being able to know the time management, and it's not like in high school as a regulator, you have a class at this time and you're expected to do your homework and complete your homework, but now if you don't do it, they don't really care, right? As long as you're not disruptive in class, they don't really care what you do or not. So it's a lot of on you to excel,
work hard.
perform, and you know meet the requirements, right?
Okay, that's fair. And what contributed to the fact that you made it first class? Because, like I said, like the UK is very stingy with giving out marks. So what did you do?
So to be fair, I didn't have. I had a few friends, right? But it
Yeah.
wasn't like these weren't close friends, and we go out every now and then to whatever social activities. But I was also able to work a lot. So, but I worked obviously.
You
when
worked in the UK?
Yeah, I had like 2 jobs.
You did?
Yeah, I had 2 football stadium jobs and 1 at a pub.
Wow.
But not at the same time. Like when you go, I don't know when these people are gonna apply, what the requirements are gonna be. But I was under a strict like 20 hours.
20 hours, yeah. It's
Yeah,
20
so
hours.
I was always at like 19.
Part-time, yeah.
18, 17. I was able to work. That's like 2 days, 3 days of work.
Yeah, but like law school's a lot.
Mm.
So like being able to work
It's just
then
having a structure,
still-
I feel like, just knowing
Okay.
like what to do and what not to do, right? And
Okay.
knowing, prioritizing your time. Like in my mind, like the way I looked at it was like the way I left home was a bit, I don't know, perhaps different from other people. This wasn't like an optional like let's do whatever you want to come back. It's like
There was a goal
my
attached.
mom sent me to go to law school and to get the law degree, right? It wasn't an option to fail.
Yeah.
So I always there, like the mission was always, have fun with your friends or work, whatever you want to work. But no, the end goal is the law degree. And I'd always have my mom on the phone saying, if you have to study,
Yeah.
call your shift off from work. So it's
Yeah.
just priorities, right? So,
Yeah, that's fair. That's true. And how was your, if you can remember, how was your school schedule like in the UK? So I asked this because in Birmingham, ours was fixed. So we never controlled our schedules. They told us whatever we needed to do, and every week was always different. So a lot of my peers could not really work because it's like, okay, employers want you to have a fixed schedule. Are you going to be available every Thursday? You're like, well, I don't know. I might have a class at this time.
Right.
Did you have a schedule that you could control at University of Sunderland?
Yeah, so I can't speak to other universities, but from my experience, my timetables were fixed. So I'd pick the elective courses about the modules in advance on whatever platform they use, and then I'd be setting a schedule. Perhaps if I'm starting school and end of mid-September, I'd have my schedule and know what time I have class. So it's fixed. I don't know how.
Lovely.
Yeah.
University of Birmingham, can you hear that? God damn it.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to work in the UK too with the 20 hours, but it was just literally impossible. I mean, some people were able to do it. I don't know how, but yeah, that was a barrier, I would say, on UOB's part. So did you have any expectations living here at 18 years old to go to study abroad? Like, did you say, okay, I'm going to the UK, once in a lifetime experience of 3 years, I'm going to travel, I'm going to do this, and at the same time work and school?
Yeah, so I think in my mind, I'm thinking I'm going to do this, enjoy my time, but then you get there. I'm self-funded. I don't know how other people are going to apply and what their financial situation is, but I was self-funded. My parents didn't give me money, so the money I worked for is what I went to law school with, right? So I was on limited funds, so I had to, when I went to the grocery store, squeeze.
Aldi?
Yeah, Aldi. I didn't have many trips. I went to
Me neither.
I went to Dublin. That was like the big one. But
Yeah.
like in 3 years, I traveled maybe once or twice, and I understand for most high schoolers, it's probably not the ideal
Yeah, but
dream. But like I came out the other side, right? I was very frugal for a bit, right? So it wasn't like I'm gonna go and explore and do all these things. Which looking back up now, I kind of regret not having the funds and opportunity to go up like to Ireland or
different parts. Because it's cheap to travel
yeah,
in
it's,
the UK
it's quite
too,
cheap, right?
but
Ryanair
again,
and whatnot, but I wasn't able to. But at the end of the day, like you could always go back.
You
Like,
can
Europe's,
literally.
Europe's not going anywhere. So
It's not.
My most I think an advice I received from my mentor is like just like get it done, right? Just, you can always go back. This is time to lock in and study, and then afterwards, once you're a lawyer, you have all the money. You
in
know,
the
supposedly
world, yeah.
all the money.
I mean,
to travel,
we have to. No. We have to. After spending all this money to get this education, we better have enough money and make it back, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Thank you for taking us through your UK experience so far. I wanted to ask about what challenges you face, but I feel like you've answered them in between this conversation. So we can move on to your NCA and GPLLM journey. So you spoke with your mentor. You decided to go to the UK for law school. Did you already know from that time that you were going to pursue a master's coming back, or like what led you to choose the master's option as opposed to doing the NCA by yourself?
No, first and second year in my mind it was just the master's degree. It wasn't anything more than that. But then like I said, the importance of building mentorship and learning from people who've already been in your shoes. I met a student who I was referred to as a current student, like I guess past student. She graduated and I was in second year going to third year, and she told me about the master's program. And I didn't know, right? It's the importance of knowledge. So like I can't stress, like I've been saying throughout this whole interview, knowing that that knowing the mentors and the right people to get there, right? So
Yeah.
I spoke with her, and then she referred me to the program and told me why I should take it, and I applied and got in. But prior to this, masters weren't even on the table. It was always NCA, get my exams and bang them out. But after the masters for me, it worked. It's a 2-in-1, right? So,
Yeah. And do you find that, you saying you left Canada and there was no like university community, now coming back and being in the GPLM program, do you find that you've somewhat been able to establish some community here?
In terms of friends, we have
Friends or like
friends.
professionals
Yeah,
or
but like
just
in
like
terms of networking,
networking?
I think I've networked both my professors and both my peers on a good level. So, I think there's room to grow anywhere. Now, I think there's more emphasis now than there was in the UK. In the UK, I was obviously close to my professors and had a few odd jobs and volunteer positions. But now coming back, like this is what really matters, right? This is because this is where I'm settling. So making the connections that are meaningful now in law school. I think the GPLLM has opened the doorway to meet more people and more professionals, because it's difficult on your own on LinkedIn, right? You can only do so much on LinkedIn, but having like an in-person setting and having the connections made for you and kind of being forced to meet people is a good way to establish connections here.
That's true. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Now talking about the NCA in itself, what has your experience with the NCA been like? So for example, like how many subjects are you required to take? For people who don't know much about the NCA, if you're coming to Canada and you have a law international degree or you're a lawyer from another country, you have to go through the NCA if you want to work in the common law aspects of Canada, right? And so the NCA assesses each individual, and they're given the amount of exams or tests that you have to take. So for example, the amount of tests I have to take might be different from Jaedan's, because Jaedan did high school straight, but I have like an undergrad and I whatever. So for your NCA experience, how has that been like, and how many courses are you required to take?
Yeah, we just discussed this briefly off camera, so I don't want to speak too much on that, because I know, don't take my advice for certain.
No, it's not advice.
Whenever this is published, I don't know what the requirements are going to be.
The requirements change,
I applied while I was in law school. In my third year, I applied and paid my fees and got my assessment. My assessment takes a while to get processed.
Yeah,
and that
8 weeks minimum.
Yeah, the office does their work. And luckily, I think like with the master's program, right, they tell you that theoretically you should have your assessment before you start the program, just to 100% make sure what you're studying, what you're paying for is going to meet the end goal. But I think with the program, they're very flexible and they understand. They try their best to reach out to the NCA and coordinate properly. So I don't really have too much of an issue. I just followed the steps, did the paperwork, paid the fees, right? So it wasn't a crazy process.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you want to speak about the amount of courses you have to take?
I believe it's 8. Yeah, I think because you don't have the undergrad, you make up for it in the NCA process. So it'd be, I think I have about 8 subjects. I think the regular one is 5 or 7?
Yeah, 5 or 6. It changes every time.
Yeah.
When you do your own assessment, you find out what you need to take. It could change. Like this year, their system changed in March this year. Some people are now required to have Indigenous law and English exams as well. So it changes every time. You have to keep up with the NCA. All right. So right now, you're doing the GPLM program, also satisfying your NCA requirements. But I know that you're also working full time.
Yeah.
How are you able to balance all of this and juggle all this work at the same time?
It's a bit of a...
Because I see you. Like you're like,
you see me in class.
Jaedan is working.
It's a bit of a stretch, but honestly, like, now is especially coming back, now is the time to establish yourself, right? So now is the time to put the work in, and it may be tough. Like I was working at one point like 2 or 3 jobs, right? It was quite difficult, and also working with the school and studying, right? So
what school? This school?
Sorry, studying. I was studying.
Okay.
I was like,
what you got?
No, but we're studying and go to school and working, and that could be difficult. But knowing you have to know your limits too, right? Thankfully, this program's quite flexible, where it's not 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. It's more just a weekend thing, which is good. We were able to balance a full-time job. So it's difficult sometimes, but those weekends off is, my relaxation days.
How many weekends off do we get? Like this semester is literally 1 weekend off.
We got 2.
No, it's 1. Between May,
and then we have one next weekend. Right?
We don't have one. We have a midterm on Sunday, so that doesn't count.
Okay, fair enough.
We're in school till July.
Fair enough.
But but it's a lot of work.
No, but having your days off are good. They just take it, just knowing how to structure your day, right? So
that's fair.
Yeah.
And what did you? So, for example, you already knew you were going to do the masters. Evidently, probably knew you were going to work as well whilst doing the masters program. Did you have any system set in place to help you ease into this process? So, for example, there's some people who are like, oh, wake up at 5 a.m., I can go to the gym, then 9 to 5 is work, and then, oh, I come back and I study, or like, how were you able to literally balance it all? What systems did you put in place?
Yeah, I don't really have like the wake up at 5 a.m. dream law school study. I don't really have that. I have like the wake up at like 7, get ready for work, get to work for 9, work 9 to 5, come home for 6, spend time with the family, go gym like if I feel like it. But like I said, all about priorities, right? Either you work or like you don't, right? I feel like perhaps I should take some more time to focus on myself a bit, to be fair.
What time do you have?
Yeah, but if we're going to the gym, I have gained a few pounds, since starting the program. Gained a few pounds. So, but it's just knowing like your priorities, right? And I feel like my system is you have to prioritize like the things that are, well, obviously a paycheck's important, right? So for me, I got bills to pay, right? So I have to work. So you have to treat the 9 to 5. Luckily, I've had a very flexible and very nice boss where he's okay to like let me take time off to study and do what I need to do. But I know everyone is not always in that position to do that, right? True. So you have to know your limits too, right? Don't stretch yourself too thin, because you're not going to pay tuition and pay for degrees and not be able to finish it for whatever reason.
Exactly.
I think that the university staff is quite flexible if you have grievances and whatnot. But that besides that point, I think just knowing your limits. I don't have a schedule in my mind. If I want to hang out sometimes after work, I go out, right? So I'm able to do both.
Balance it all. Yeah. Okay, that's fair. That's good. And I forgot to ask this question before, but now you're in the GPLLM program. We're about wrapping up the program in itself. Did you have any expectations before coming into the program of what you wanted your experience to be like? And if you did, have they been met?
I think it falls more on me, not of the program, but I think going to more events. I know you're quite sociable with these events, and I feel like
I'm not working full time, so that's also, and you can watch. You get to really relive the experience of my channel. That's fine.
No, I understand that. So I feel like knowing, like being able to go to these events. Like I wasn't able to attend very many. I think maybe I've done maybe 2 or 3 this whole year, maybe not even 2, honestly. But I think my expectation was to make the connections and build the foundation here, right? Which I've done in terms of academics. In academia, I've done that, and I have the requirements, and I'm here. And I think I've made the connections with like classmates and
which is good.
And professors and that. But I think really breaking into the sphere of the Canadian law system, I could have been a bit better on, because these opportunities are like once you're out of school, you're out of school, right?
Like so, we are shutting the doors in August to us.
So once you study, I feel like you need to also make time to make the proper connections. So we've got friends who go to court almost every day, right?
Shout out to Lukian.
Yeah, I think
I've stopped going, but Lukian is still going.
Yeah, he's always there, right? Which is good.
He's in his element. He wants to be a criminal lawyer.
So. Make the connections, right? So, like I said, I'm working full time, so I perhaps lack that opportunity. But I'm happy in what I do, right? So
exactly,
it's just like making the time to go to these events. So that's my only expectation that I feel like I didn't meet, but.
That's
everything happens for a reason, right?
Yeah, exactly. And events will always be there. So even when you're already an established lawyer, you can get called to, speak at this event. So they will always be there forever. All right. So let's switch final gears to talk about any advice for someone who's watching, who's like a high school person thinking about taking this leap of faith to go study straight in the UK and do their law degree and then come back to pursue a career here. Did you have a question?
Go ahead.
So looking back at your journey, would you say that this is like the most risky decision you ever made in your life, and was it worth it?
I think financially, yeah. Right.
Okay.
But honestly, my greatest advice would be like, this has to be something you're passionate about. This can't just be like a hobby or like a mild interest. This has to be like a career. It's okay to change careers, of course. Obviously, in high school age, you don't really know what you want to do. But if you're gonna go abroad, you have to make sure this is something you're set on. And I've always kind of known what I want to do. I know that's not the case for everyone, which is fine. To each their own. But I think even I have friends now who are going to the overseas now asking like my advice, and I think you have to be like able to go, right? You have to be able to like put your head on, this has to be it, because in my mind there isn't, like, I come from a single parent household, right? So I didn't have the option to like go for 3 years and fail and come back and try something else. Like, my funds are limited, so I knew that if I'm gonna go, I'm gonna finish it, and I was going for a purpose. So I think my greatest advice is make sure this is something you want, and you're in it. Once you're in it, you're in it. Like, there's no, like for me, there's no going back. Because like once you're set, you're set. And I think, like I mentioned before, making the right connections. I think if I was in high school again, luckily I had the co-op opportunity and I was called back and I was able to make the connections. But high schoolers, I think co-op is the most important thing, because it's good to know the content in terms of knowledge, but knowing the actual people and making the connections.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think highly recommend taking co-op, making the connections, be involved. Don't just treat your co-op as just like a credit. This is like a lifelong connection. Like, I don't think I'd be in law school if I didn't meet the right connections and do what I need to do, and have a passion for what you're doing. Right, enjoy what you want to do, and make sure it's something like long term. I think just make the most out of it, right? You're only there for a limited time while you're in law school. Once you're finished school, then you're in the real world. There's no more, there's school.
You're adulting.
Yeah, right? So have fun, but also know that this is your career, and make the right choices when you're young, and they'll be fruitful. You know, everything pays off in the end. And like, I'm not very religious, but like pray, you know, everything comes through God, right?
Yeah.
So
it's going to work out eventually.
Yeah.
That's good. That's such a lovely advice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for saying that, Jaedan. And I went to high school here for some years, and I didn't even know about a co-op opportunity.
Yeah, see,
maybe if I did that, I would have just been like, oh, I'm circling back, going to the UK.
Yeah.
It's taking me so long, and I'm talking about so many years, and I'm still not a lawyer. But Jaedan is here. Like, I could have done that. I could have done that.
Yeah.
But that's good to know. But okay, thank you for that advice to anyone who's watching. But we're all human beings, and sometimes we can face realistic burnouts and whatnot. So have there been any moments where you've questioned this path to say, like, you wake up one morning, you're in your place in the UK, and you're like, why the heck am I doing this to myself? It's rained today, yesterday, always raining. Like, why did I do this to myself? Have there ever been moments where you doubted your decision? And if there was, like, how were you able to come out of that?
Right, yeah. And my mind is always, obviously, it's not always glitz and glamour in law school, right? And I think it's any school, any point in life, there's always ups and downs.
Yeah.
So I think going through it, I was like, yeah, I don't want to go to class today, or I don't want to do this, and maybe this is the wrong choice. But in my mind, I was always like, I'm already too deep in, and I'm not just doing the law degree for myself, right? I had a family to support when I came back home, so it wasn't just my law degree. So I feel like in my mind, I couldn't take the time and like go back on my word. Like, I was here for a reason, and I had people depending on me to take care of stuff, and like, you know, I'm the breadwinner now, so I needed to take care of, you know, stuff, right? So I didn't have an option to fail. I think there's a saying, it goes like, you have to be so sure on something, you burn the bridges or you burn the ship. So meaning there's no turning back. Like, this is something you're set on. Which I know that mentality might not work for everybody, but for me, that's
your why. That's what keeps you going.
Yeah, right.
That's fair. That you're very wise. That's good. That's good. No, I'm serious. I need to give you like your props, because like not many people have figured out their pathway so young. And I can't believe I'm the one saying this, because I used to always be the youngest in the room. Yeah. Right. So I kind of know what that felt like, to be very, very fast, and like everyone around me is like 18 and in uni, but I'm like 16, and people are like, how are you? What about, where are you rushing? But you know, but being able to know at a very young age what you want, not only knowing but pursuing it and achieving it and still maintaining that, I think that you're making your family very, very proud. And yeah, I don't know your family personally, but if I was a member of the family, I would be like Jaedan said he was going to do this. He did this. He didn't fail out of law school. He came out with the best grades, and he's still pushing this. So I'm very, very proud of you, and I'm very, very happy to have met someone like you who gets to share his experience on this channel and inspire other people as well.
No, I think another thing I'd like to add before I end is just be humble, right? Know that there's always
please.
There's always room to grow.
You better brag.
There's always room to grow, right? You never. There's always someone above you. There's levels to the game, right? True. So just know, like, there's always a learning opportunity. Don't be closed-minded, and every door either leads somewhere. Yeah. Hopefully, every door has an avenue, right?
True. So, True. All right. So I think we're going to wrap up this interview, because you've answered all the questions. I was going to ask, like, if you faced any stigma coming back, but you're already working, so I don't.
No, like I said,
your experience is different.
Think my situation's a bit different because I had the connections, and also my mentor and my other like everyone I know in the law atmosphere kind of went to law school in the UK, right? They went abroad, so it's good to be in a community which knows how it is, right? Okay. But I know it's not as easy as other people face. So.
Okay, that's fair. All right, so that's all the questions I have for you today. I usually ask my guests if they have any questions for me. They get to ask me only one question. So do you have any question for me today?
Why did you switch from here to law school? I mean, like, you already had undergrad here. You didn't want to push through and get the JD. Or any reason for the switch?
I didn't know. I was an international student here in Canada. I had always wanted to be a lawyer from the get-go. So I thought that applying to York University. I was in the Law and Society program, and I thought I was law school because like I'm originally from Nigeria. So if you want to be a lawyer in Nigeria, you go straight from high school and then you start the journey. There's no weird 4-year degree and then the LSAT.
Yeah.
So I got into York, and first semester I'm like, okay, I'm asking, can I speed up this process to turn this 4-year degree into a 3-year degree? Because the same idea, fast. I want to finish young. I want to get it going.
Yeah.
And then that was when I realized that, the lady I was speaking to, I can't remember what they called them, but like advisors or whatever, they're like, this is not law school. That was like the shock of my life. I was like, what do you mean this is not law school? And they're like, no, this isn't law school. I was like, but... And like I pointed at, like, it's like Osgood is right.
Yeah.
So and he's like Osgood York University, but they were like, no, it's a separate entity. Like if you want to go to law school in Canada, you get the 4 years traditionally, and then you write something called the LSAT, and then you keep going. I was like, oh my God. So I had to explain this to my parents, and like, well, I'm not in law school, and I'm like, okay, we'll do the 4 years. I did the 4 years. There was a strike in between. Thankfully, I didn't have to repeat any class. I did well, and I was good. And I started studying for the LSAT. Like I paid so much money, everything. It just wasn't making any sense to me. And I wouldn't go into something that I am unsure of. So I decided to look for there has to be other ways. I was getting work experience whilst doing that. And then the UK came up. Like I saw a video of Paul McConnell, who's a professor at University of Birmingham, talking about Canadians coming to study law abroad. And it's like, it's a 2-year law degree. All they need is your high school qualification. So I was like, so I have this requirement, how many years ago? I could have just gone. And I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. It's 2 years. I'll come back, and I knew about the master's option as well. It's like, okay, I'll do the 2 years and then come back here, do the master's, just to also get a flavor of a Canadian university and then progress from there. So that's my reason why I was already here, and then I went. So I feel like I'm like the only, from the amount of people I've spoken to, I'm like the very unique person that has this storyline of, you were already in Canada here, you made this mistake quote unquote, and then you circled back and did it another way. But yeah, I've met other people who are like in the LLM program, for example, and they didn't know about the GPLLM. So now you're doing the LLM, and then they have to self-study for the NCA.
Well, I think it's a very niche market, right? If you don't know, it's who's in the know, right? You have to do the proper research, and I think that's across the board in any profession. If you're going to pursue education, you have to pursue and check all your options, see the end goal, right? So be knowledgeable, I guess, is another piece of advice. Yeah.
Be knowledgeable and watch my channel so you don't make mistakes. All right, if you make mistakes, then you can come share them on here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jaedan, for speaking with me today and sharing all your experiences and giving nuggets to anyone who's going to be watching. If you all have reached up until this point, remember to like, share, subscribe. Leave us a comment if you have any questions or comments below, and turn on your notification bell so you get notified whenever I post my videos. Jaedan, tell them to subscribe and like.
Subscribe everything. Before we go, let me just say, keep God close. Let me shout out to my girlfriend, Molly. Shout out, she'll see it. Shout out.
Can you imagine? Yeah. I hope she's subscribed.
No, she'll be there. Subscribe.
What do you mean she will be subscribed? I hope she is.
No, she'll subscribe. She'll be there.
Okay.
Yeah, be humble, keep God close, and we'll keep pushing, We'll get there in the end,
We'll get there in the end. I love it. All right. Yeah. Have a good one, everyone. I'll see you all in my next video. Take care. Bye-bye.